It's one of those things like reading about this, like the humans, the Tellarites, the Andorians, and the Vulcans all work together. And I read this on like a Wikipedia or a Memory Alpha thing, right? Like before any of the shows, this is how the Federation was born. And in my mind's eye, there's this whole complicated thing that's going on. You know, there's like a lot of politics, and there's a lot of different interactions, and the races are doing these strange things. And if the Romulans are involved, it's this whole clusterfuck. But when you condense it to an Enterprise episode, it's like the bad guys are trying to screw us. It's like, let's work together to stop them. And it's like, this is how the greatest Federation in space was ever created. It seems so small and so insignificant.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they don't walk away at the end of this episode with like signed documents deciding to become a Federation.
No, it's a stepping stone.
Yeah, and I'm sure the next episode will involve the Vulcans getting into the mix, which gets you closer to there. But yeah, what you're talking about, excuse me, could be a whole season of TV.
Yeah.
Like it would have been, if the first season of Discovery had been about the forming of the Federation and like the messy politics involved, that would have been awesome. I would have loved that. Would have been very in vogue with the Game of Thrones of it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you simplify it down to one conflict in a 40, or I guess at this point, I guess it would be a hour and a half or two and a half hour episode of television, 3 hours, I guess, depending on commercials. It does make it feel kind of small, but I don't know how much of that is, at the time. Do you think it feels small, or does it feel small because we have so removed from it and do have such a larger franchise height point of view on thing?
I think it would still feel small. It's like I was thinking about it in comparison to DS9, right? Which is that when DS9 did things, even if it wasn't invoking a lot of different characters because of production constraints, there was through dialogue this sense that there was like a larger world outside of the scenes you were seeing. Like characters would come in and it's like Gowron has decided to do this and the Klingon ships are going to go off and do that. I was watching that sort of fan trailer for season 4 that I had shared with you a while back, where it's just like they took highlight clips. And that was one season of DS9, and there is so many species and character motivations. Like Dukat has this thing about like, if no one stands against the Klingons, then I will. Cisco's yelling about like the Dominion wants us to tear each other apart, like Klingons against Cardassians, Cardassians against Bajorans or whatever. And Wei-Yun talking about like the Federation is going to crumble into dust. I feel like there was a level of, if not shown on screen, at least there was this understanding in the background of what these characters are doing, that sort of the universe was in motion trying to do something.
Yeah.
And I don't really, this feels like, Enterprise kind of feels like these ships just kind of stumbled together, which I guess is thematically appropriate for how early they are, but I don't get a sense that there's really great politics behind what they're doing, to the point where this kind of thing would convince civilizations to do something different in their line of, I'd almost, I don't know.
I think a big part of it is because all of the drama surrounding these races of people coming together is localized to the ship. And what I mean by that is it's all hinges on the people who are on this ship. So there is no understanding of what the larger placement of the Andorians or the Tellarites is. Like you were saying, just saying what you said, that feels like there are larger groups in motion coming into conflict with each other. Whereas in this one, it's, you killed my girlfriend, now I got to kill you. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing outside of this. It's like all of the other ships are waiting for us to find out whether or not you kill the guy who killed your girlfriend. But like, you know what I mean? There's no sense of the relationships or the tension or the conflict between these people on a larger scale, other than the personal
main characters
events
are important. Yeah, the main characters drive a civilization, basically.